Hello, and welcome to the Life in Our 20s podcast. This is a bit of a last minute episode that I am putting out. I know that I had said I would only do one this month, and I didn't want to break my promise of 2 a month. So you may think that this is a sloppy or like kind of rushed episode, and it is. I'm not gonna say that it's not. It is. Um, so I'm kind of going into this episode not knowing what to talk about. Like, I may have a faint idea, but I don't have any real plan. And, you know, it's just, I felt bad just not putting something out, and it feels like I'm not fulfilling my promise. And, even after putting this out, I'm still not fulfilling it, to be honest, but it makes me feel a little bit better about myself, especially after everything that's been going on. If you don't know what's been going on, um, go to the previous episode and I go into it a little bit. But I'll make this short. I am recording this right before work, so I have a limited amount of time to do all this. And I simply just wanted to say that I think I'm going to restructure everything. So we're going to go through a restructuring progress over at, Life in Our 20s. Oh, like everything. So, I am trying to see if there is somebody that will run this with me and help me out a little bit. Just because I have other things that, are going on in life, other things I want to focus on as well. And if it doesn't work out, then, we had a year of this podcast. And, we haven't broken any records or anything. We haven't really gotten many views. But, I give it a try. And, I might come back every once in a while to drop a couple episodes here or there just to, as a hobby. Something to do for fun. But if I try to restructure and, things are still how do I say this? It's not like a numbers thing. It's more so if I can't hit deadlines and I can't fulfill the promises that I've promised, then I will put a hiatus on the podcast. And that's just simply because I have other projects and other things that I want to do. And, I did the podcast thing. It's fun, but I don't have anybody to do it with consistently. And that's the thing that I think limits what I can do with the podcast. I wish I had somebody that, could be there all the time. And I know that that's impossible because, schedules and everybody has different, things going on in life. But it would be nice to have somebody that could be there, once a month, record an episode, and then we put that out. But it's just not possible right now. And, it kind of sucks, but whatever. It is what it is. And, I don't think I can keep doing the solo stuff because I have so many ideas and, the concepts for episodes, but I can't do it on my own. I need somebody else to be there with me so we could have a back and forth, but everybody just seems really busy. So, maybe it wasn't the correct time to do the podcast, or maybe I missed my shot and I should have done it, earlier when I had less responsibilities and when some of my friends had less responsibilities. But whatever, I'm going to try to restructure and bring in a permanent co-host, and if that doesn't happen, then the podcast will be on a hiatus for however long. It'll be on a break. and I'll focus on other things that I'm more passionate about, because the podcast is fun and whatever, but it's only fun when you have somebody else there to talk with you. And there's other things that I can do solo that are just as fun, if not more, and are things that I have higher on my list of things that I want to do as hobbies. So, so yeah, we're gonna try to restructure, and that means bringing somebody in to help with the recording, being a co-host, possibly with social media, editing, and we'll split everything 50-50, so we'll do a little bit each. And if if that doesn't work out, the workflow isn't working out, or if I feel like we're not being productive or effective, and I feel like we can do more, I'll try to push for more. And if that doesn't work out, then I'm just gonna call it quits for a little bit and kind of just take a step back and see where maybe I might have gone wrong a little bit in like my workflow, because I don't have the best work ethic when it comes to like the podcast stuff. And I do try to reach out to people to like let them know when I'm gonna record and stuff. And most of the time they'll just give me a straight answer like yes, no, I'll think about it, I might be busy. With others, it's like more of a schedule thing. They want to be on here, or they're interested in being on here, but schedules don't allow. So it ends up being me always, like on my own. And I'm not blaming them. I'm not trying to force them to come on to the podcast. I'm not holding anything against them. We all got our own lives going on and stuff. It's just that the it's just kind of sad that the world doesn't let our schedules align and stuff half the time. And then the world throws us curveballs like what I talked about in the previous episode. Um and it throws things off course. So we're going to be doing a restructuring. I might try taking a break for a while. I'm this isn't an episode to announce that we're just stopping here. I'm still going to try for February, March, maybe April. And at that point, if I can't have a co-host on here, then I will just shut things down for a little bit and just kind of sit back for a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just have other things that I want to do, other things I want to pursue. And I feel like those would be more fun. It's once again, like I said, it's not a numbers thing. It's not that I haven't reached the goals that I wanted to reach. I did set some pretty high standards for myself, some pretty high goals. And I know that I haven't been consistent on delivering with that. So that is a little bit sad, but it's not what's causing me to make this decision. It's just literally that it's not fun doing this by myself, and it's hard to get other people on here, because I have a limited number of friends, and some of them have already shown that they're not interested, and others we just can't consistently get a schedule worked out. And then half of the time I just I don't even try to reach out anymore, just because I know that they're busy and I feel like I'm pestering them. I feel like I'm pestering them. So we're just going to try to figure things out, and if we can't, putting a pause on everything, and then we'll see where we go from there. I mean, I feel like I could have done more. I could post on social media and do more episodes, have more interesting topics and stuff. But you can only do so much in the realm of like episode topics and stuff, you can only do so much by yourself. Like, I feel like having another person in there would make things a lot more interesting. That's why I bought this whole, like, 2 microphone setup thing. And it's not even like the money aspect of like I spent money to get here, because even if like, I end up taking a break, or like, I just stop podcasting and do something else altogether, I'll still have the equipment and I can use it for other things. Like, for the short film stuff that I wanted to do, there is still some ADR that's required to be done for some parts of it. And, the microphones would be very useful to be able to record stuff, create your own kind of little sound clips and sound effects, instead of like, having to pay somewhere to like, um, license out sounds and stuff. You just like create your own. And so I'll still keep the equipment and stuff, and I'll just like, go under the radar for a little bit. And that's okay. A lot of these sorts of projects usually start as a hobby and end up being like, a bigger thing, or they just kind of frizzle out and then you come back to it every once in a while, because they're hobbies. And it just so happens that like, I don't have a lot of people around me that would be interested in the same hobby that I have, and that's fine. Like, it's the same thing with like if you're trying to get into photography and stuff, and you don't surround yourself with a lot of people that are like into photography, it might like fizzle out for you, and you might stop showing as much interest as you did in the past. And that's normal, like, because you show so much like passion and like, you curiosity, and you want to like do these things, but you don't have anybody to share it with. And that's kind of the thing that sets you back a little bit, limits you from like progressing further and stuff. But like, it's okay, because like you can always come back to it at a later date. And that's probably most likely what will happen here. I'll just come back at a later date with new ideas. Um, Maybe somebody like, later down the line wants to do this with me. But for now, it's just like, it's up in the air. We'll see. Aside from that, like, I do want to fully commit to my short film project, because that's something that I feel like would actually be really fun to do and would benefit, like, I would benefit from it a lot if it does well. It's like that one's like my big passion project that I want to do. Um, and that's like the priority on my list right now. I want to get that done because I've been talking about making a film for more than a year now, I think. Like, I had the idea in the back of my head, like, way back when. Like, I remember being, like, a kid and, like, wanting to, like, film stuff and, like, create skits and stuff when I was, like, little, and I finally got a phone. And I just never had the friends around to do it. And, like, that was the perfect time to do it, because when you're a kid, you just kind of throw shit at the wall. Like, you throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And that stuff that sticks, you kind of learn from that and create similar things and tweak it a little bit and like learn different, like, techniques and different things that you can do to create the ideas that you have in your head, but like physical media, like in a medium where people can actually like see it and not just hear it when you're like explaining it to them, like, you're creating something. And I feel like I missed out on that, because I didn't have a lot of friends around that could like help me out with that. Because I feel like a lot of us just thought that maybe we would be looked at as like the weird kids, or like, we had other stuff going on, like, family issues, homework and stuff. Some people just thought maybe it was dumb. And now, like, that I'm older, I wish that I had gone to do that a little bit, because then now I would at least know whether or not it could have worked out. And like now trying to do it as an adult, I'm just kind of sitting here going, like, could it work out? Could I do this? Is it possible? And it's harder for you to like put everything together and like try to do it because you're older and you set higher expectations for yourself because you have access to more resources, because you have like a more disposable income to use. And you know I just need to do it. It's something that I just need to do. And then there's the photography stuff that I want to do. Um when I went and did my first gig, which was like for a family member, and I did like their wedding pictures, um like I realized I need a system, like how to like increase productivity and be able to just crank things out quickly, because right now my workflow is garbage and it's taken forever for me to like deliver on everything. So I feel like creating a workflow to maximize my productivity and like get myself like out there would help a lot. And that's something else that I want to work on, like a little side gig to do. And all of that is possible to do while doing the podcast, as long as I manage my time correctly and stuff. But as I said, those are things that I could do, especially with the photography. That those are things I could do mainly on my own. And the podcast, I think, would not be fun to do unless you have another person there with you. And the photography stuff, that is just fun to do even if you're by yourself. Like, I've done it by myself. It is a lot more fun having somebody there, but that one is possible to do on your own and still see like, results and be happy with it. And the podcast is like, it should be a 2+ person like venture, because that's when you like maximize the fun that you have with it and stuff. And then the short film, I have friends that have shown more interest in that than the podcast. I have some friends that are really into like movie stuff, and they seem to be interested in the idea of at least like, helping me with writing and stuff. Um, and then filming, like, will be mostly just me filming it, and, maybe one or two other friends helping me film. And I feel like that would be more enticing for them because they get behind the camera and like, learn how to operate it and everything. Whereas for a podcast, you just sit and talk, and maybe it's not as intriguing to people. And, it really all comes down to what what is like the most fun for me to do. If something's not fun, I just won't do it. And I've gone through that with multiple things. I used to want to be like really good at like drawing and like art and stuff, and at some point people started trashing on me so much and like critiquing everything so harshly that I just said this isn't really fun anymore. Like, because instead of drawing the things that I wanted to draw, it would just become a contest of like who can like win over more people with their drawings. And like, I just stopped. It just got to be no fun. And I've done that with multiple things. Like, like with gaming as well. I didn't have friends that could game or friends that wanted to game with me because I was like, broke, didn't have access to any consoles or like PC or anything. And then once I got access to like a console, I would get trashed on for the console that I got because my friends would be on the like, opposite end of the spectrum. Like, playing on like PC or like on the other console. Like if I got an Xbox, it would be on PlayStation. And it just at some point I did get to like play some games and have a little bit of fun, but it always dies out, and it's always the same thing of like it just doesn't it's not fun anymore. So I feel like that's what's happening right now with the podcast. It's just not fun anymore. Like, it was at the beginning. I put a lot of work into it. I saw the views, like, continue to increase slowly. And I felt like I was reaching an audience, especially on YouTube. Like, YouTube, like, I remember going from like 80 views to 100 and something in just a month or two. And I was like, wow, that's like really cool. If I really, really wanted to, I could like put a lot of effort into it and maybe see that go up. And like, I feel like it would have been fun to chase the numbers, and fun to have somebody there with me along for the ride. But like, just doing it by myself is just boring, to be honest. So even if I were to stay here now and I got like, say, 1 million views or something, like tomorrow, I feel like I would still drop it at some point if I didn't have somebody there with me. Because it's just not fun to, like, chase after something and not be able to share it with anyone. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. We'll try to do a restructuring, whether it be light or completely overhaul everything. If it doesn't work, then I'll just put it on a pause for a little bit, and I'll go try my other ventures that I wanted to do. Things that I feel will fulfill me a little bit more, like, things that I actually want to do, and things that I'm, like, really, really hoping to do. Because the podcast is, like, I've done it, I've been doing it, and, like, I'm here right now doing it. But I feel like it might be, like, time wasted, because I could be doing other things that are just living in the back of my head. Like, and I just keep on going back to it, wanting to do those things more than the podcast. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you see me stop posting, like, if I stop uploading, don't be surprised. Like, it, like, it was in the cards already that this maybe wasn't going to be like a super long-term thing. And, don't wait to see like when the next episode comes out or whatever. Like, just move on from it. And then if I ever upload in the future, it's like a nice little, hey guys, look, I'm back. And then, like, we'll pick up from there. But yeah, like, just don't be surprised if I like disappear for a little bit and I stop uploading to like the YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Spotify, Amazon Music, whatever. Like, just don't be surprised. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try to, like, continue this for as long as like I can, and then we'll put a pause on it. And I can't tell you what's gonna happen from there. Like, I hope I figure things out, but I might just pivot and focus on doing my short film entirely. Because I want people to see my vision. Like, it's been so hard to explain it to people and to put it in writing and describe everything exactly the way that I see it in my head, because I can't find the words to like describe it. Like, I need people to see the vision, to understand what's going on, to understand what I'm looking for. like just the general idea of it, and then maybe then they'll be able to understand like the broader image that I'm going for, the bigger picture, you know? And it's just one of those things where like it's a challenge that I know I can like, be good at. Something where I can actually deliver. And it would be interesting to see like, a year and a half from now or something, to see that I like finally did what I said I was going to do and have it up there. And that's exactly what like I did with the podcast. Like, I said I've been wanting to do this for so long, let me just go out and do it. And I finally did it. Like, and like that, I checked that off already. I finally did it. And like, hitting like high numbers and stuff, that was like always like a bonus thing. If you hit it, it's cool. If you don't, whatever, you already accomplished your goal. Like, that's what I want to do with my short film now. Like, I just want to get it done, be able to say to myself, yeah, I went and I did that thing that I said I was going to do. And if it performs poorly, I don't care. I still did what I said I was going to do. And if it performs like, well, I still don't care because I did what I said I was going to do. I just want to be able to say I'm going to do this thing and then deliver. And everything else after that is just a bonus. If it's like, a positive thing. And if it like flops or whatever, I don't care because it's like, I fulfilled my promise to myself. And, I just feel like it would be a cool little kind of bonding exercise thing for me and my friends. And I will put out like, I guess in February, like the exact date that I will start filming. And I'm probably going to start a separate channel, like YouTube channel, Instagram and Threads. I'm going to create one separately, specifically for the short film. It'll probably be under the studio name, sort of, that I've been working on for my little quote unquote like production company that I have in my mind of like having to, so that I can like do other projects and stuff like short films. And I'm not ready to share that with y'all right now, but I'll probably let y'all know. And then if you're interested, you can go and follow it, like, but for now I think that's gonna stay under wraps, like, until I get like, gain more traction and start like, actually putting things together. So hopefully next month I'll have some news, like, mid February ish. I want to be able to have a close to finalized script in like February ish. Or not February. Like March ish. And then that way I have like, time to actually look for locations and figure out all of like the acting stuff that's going to be going on, like who's going to be in it, who's going to be helping with like the production, and then being able to buy any more equipment that I need. But yeah, I mean, so that's all I really wanted to share. Like, I might be pivoting away from this and going like, not full time, but like putting more hours into some of my other projects. So don't be surprised if I am gone for a little bit. I'll be busy doing other things that I find more interesting and more fulfilling to do than the podcast. And that doesn't mean like that I'll that I'll like give up podcasting like forever or whatever. It's a neat little thing to do, to like put your episodes out there and then be able to like go back and listen to them. And it's kind of like a audio diary sort of thing. You know, I can see where my mental state was back when I recorded the episode and uploaded it. Or I can see, like, you know, whether or not the decisions that I decided to take actually led to the outcome that I imagined would happen, you know? So that's something neat, and I don't know if I'm ready to part with that yet. So I'll probably still do some form of like podcasting in the future or something, just for fun. But you know, for now, just stay tuned, I guess, because I might have further news in the future, and you know, that's all I really wanted to say for now. So I'm gonna tell you guys to follow the Instagram threads, share this with anybody that you think would enjoy this. Um, Make sure to rate the podcast, and you know, I'm just going to say, just make sure to follow the threads on Instagram, because I feel like I will be putting out an update there to let you guys know whether or not I will be continuing the podcast. And I may also share details about the short film and the production stuff for that on there as well. But for now, you know, I'll see you guys around, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. For now, that's it, and yeah, I'll see you around. Bye.